Namaste everyone. Very warm welcome to Satsang today. Sadhguru Shri Muji Baba ki
Jai.
So the weekend just passed. I was telling someone on the weekend that because we are in Satsang, many of us in Satsang from Monday to Friday, it can seem like the weekends are a good opportunity to pick up some concepts, pick up some notions about ourselves. So are you now with some notions again? Monday we start every Monday. Let's clean up the notions from the weekend. We empty of all that we saw was pretty pointless. Throughout the week we see this. What do we mean when we talk about notions? Anything that you put after I am. I am person, I am husband, I am wife, I am broke, I am wealthy, all these notions. are just notions that belong to nobody. We see this every day. Right now, the one to whom any of these would belong to is not there till you first pick up a notion. In this very moment, unless you give your mind that opportunity to feed an idea to you, that one with all of these ideas about itself doesn't exist. The one that is bound, especially doesn't exist. The one that wants freedom has no tangible existence ever. Okay? So Satsang is a strange rehab. Why strange? Because it is rehab for just an idea that we have about ourselves. It is not even something like smoking, rehab for smoking. At least with the cigarette you can see it. But the person is just a notion, just an idea. Where is it? Where are you? And if you think about it, obviously you say, but yes, but what happens if I leave from Satsang? Then what happens when I speak to my wife, when I speak to my husband, when I speak to my children? Relationship. What happens when I have to pay the electric bill? What happens? All these what happens can come. But even in this offering from the mind, so many times I've called the mind the ATM machine, which is the anytime misery machine. But actually it is able to create that misery for us only because of our attention to it and our belief. Now attention is a difficult quality, it seems. That if I say, make sure you don't think of a green apple, starts coming. Don't think of what? Green apple. So, attention is a little slippery quality. The more you try to force it, the more it seems to go against what you're trying to do. But belief is a much simpler quality to deal with. I say, don't give your attention to green apple, seems a bit tough. I say, don't believe you are one, much simpler. So it might be appearing. But unless we give it our belief that this is me or has something to do with me, then it doesn't have any power. So this is a useful way to short circuit the trick of the mind. It keeps giving us various propositions. And attention can also go to it. You will see that as belief gets withdrawn from this mind, you will find that attention also doesn't go to it as much as it used to. But the fact is, even if attention goes to mind, the deal is not done. You have not taken out the banknote of misery from this ATM machine yet. It has to work like this, that you cannot suffer unless you believe something about yourself which is not true. Suffering means that you are believing something about yourself which is not true. And what is the primary landing point, the fertile ground for this suffering? The notion that you are an individual, limited entity. Okay? If you look at most of the things that your mind is saying, it is referring to you as if you have a limitation, as if you have a boundary, as if you are enclosed in this body, or you are the body itself. Even if it is telling you that, no, you are beyond the body, you are the aura, or something like that. It is still limitation. It is still not a service to what you truly are. You see? Now, how is it that these mistaken notions have been believed for so long? It is because we have been conditioned, we have been taught by our parents, by this mind, by other people that we have met, to believe these ideas. This is your hand, this is your foot, move your mouth. So these sensations, which we call the body, have been given the attribute mind, me, mind. So this is the first mind, this my body. This is the first attachment. Now, if you are just this body, then you will need lots of things. You need clothes to keep warm. You need food to feed it. So the concept of need comes from the limited notion that you have about yourself. The concept of desire comes from the limited notion that you have about yourself. If you did not allow the mind to convince you that these body sensations define my boundary, what is your existence like right now? You are experiencing these sensations still. The sensations don't have to go away. Attention does not have to be withdrawn from them. But you notice that they are happening within you. You are not happening within them. That has been a mistaken notion. That I am some happening within this body. Either within my head or my heart or something like that. Physical heart. But actually, all of these are just a set of sensations, either visual sensations or sensory perceptions that are all experienced within you. Now the mind has co-opted these sensations into its plan. Let me use this, because that is the way that I have been designed. Let me use these sensations to convince the unlimited being, unlimited consciousness, that it is actually limited. This is the boundary of it. So then what happens is that you start to believe that this is me and these are others. This is me and this is the world. This is duality. This is duality. Once duality is there, then desire is there. What does this me want? What do I want? And it'll give you a list. You go to the mind and say, what do you want? Ah, this would be nice. This would be nice. So desire. Then what do I do to fulfill these desires? Doership. None of this applies to the reality of you. But because you have believed duality, that's why we end up believing desire and doership. So these are the 3 Ds of suffering. Duality, desire, and doership. At the root is this idea of separation, that there is a separate me. Now suppose you came to Satsang and you didn't have the notion of any limitation at all. Then are you looking for something? So let today's Satsang be the altar on which we sacrifice our most favorite notions about ourselves. Huh? The favorite notion that we feel like this one is really worth it actually. And you shine your own light on it. You don't have to expose to the rest of Sangha. Don't have to expose. Just look for yourself and find, in spite of clearly seeing right now and over many, many weeks and months and some of you for years, that there is no limited entity here. Somehow, these notions or this notion seems to always get me. So surrender it in the fire ceremony of your heart today. Now, if there are some of you for whom surrender seems like a strange or weird alien concept, some of us are like that, our temperament is different. The mind might be going full on saying, but what's the point of this? Does it really work? What will I get if I surrender? Is it the mind? So if our temperament is like that, then don't try to push the notion away, don't try to throw the notion away, don't try to surrender it. You inquire into it. Who does it belong to? So if the idea is, I must find my freedom, or I have not yet found the truth. These are the favorite notions of seekers, that I am not yet there. Then inquire into this. Use this as fuel for your inquiry. That which was fuel for the surrender, now use that as fuel for your inquiry. And say, who? Who is it that is not yet free? Who is it that whatever that favorite notion was, Who does it belong to? Again, you will find that there is nobody there. No individual entity you will find. So this me has just been a presumption. And either it is being surrendered at the Sadguru's feet, or it has been seen that there is no such me. And that's it. Give some water. So this me has just been a presumption, and to see that it is untrue is enough. Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharishi said that the discovery of true knowledge is only the letting go of ignorance. The letting go of ignorance is all that is needed. You don't have to find anything. See, because to find would mean that it is not you. So recognition, true recognition, is always apparent when the false is let go of. The truth is completely apparent to you right now. Always. And for Gopala, whether eyes are closed or open, always apparent. But it is just that the mental certificate, the mind certificate, doesn't seem to always be available. Right now you exist and you know of this existence. This is not a mental knowing. It is not even a perception. Your existence is definitely not an emotion. I'm going too fast. So it is not mental. You're not thinking I exist and that's why you exist. You don't have to think it. You see? You don't have to feel I exist, I exist, I exist, I am. You don't have to reinforce it with some emotional feeling. It's not a feeling. It is not even an object of your perception. Like, does it have a shape, a size, a color, any physical attribute? There exists. So this knowingness, which is called pure knowledge itself, knowingness is a better term, but traditionally they used to call it pure knowledge, just awareness, is here. You don't have to remember it, you cannot forget it. It has nothing to do with mind, intellect, emotion, perception, of anything. This truth is completely apparent. It's not in the way that we got used to thinking about truth. And we've been trained like this, unfortunately. What is the capital of Namibia? Capital of Namibia. Is it? So, because we don't have the concept or the name for it, we like, I don't know it. And because we don't have the concept for the self, it can feel like I don't know it. You see? That is the struggle of the spiritual seeker. That which is so obvious, apparent, we're waiting for some concept to prove it, we're waiting for some sensation to prove it, we're waiting for some awakening experience to happen. Something must happen to prove to me that I have discovered the self. But the self is not discoverable in that way. It is not something you will learn conceptually. It is not a feeling that you will have. And even the experience will only be a byproduct. The experience itself will not be the self. So if you get excited after seeing those laughing Buddha videos and say, when is that experience going to happen to me? That is when I will be free. Then know that that experience doesn't mean much. Actually, many have had these experiences also, and then completely gone back to believing themselves to be people. There is no such thing as a final experience. This is just an idea. Many times it can be that you have a very strong spiritual experience and you might feel like you're so special. And that spiritual ego is impossible, not impossible, but difficult to shake. So, experiences do not guarantee freedom. Concepts don't guarantee freedom. Any feeling doesn't. Your freedom is pre-guaranteed. You exist. Is your freedom guarantee? That which exists is always free. But that which you consider yourself to be has to be shaken. You see, that's what Bhagavan meant. When he said, true knowledge is only the dropping of ignorance. So when you stop considering yourself to be that which you can never be, you can never be limited. You can never be something which has a duration, a birth and a death. You are that which is beyond all of this and beyond all perceptions even. After hearing this, which is true about yourself, the mind takes on a special quality. It goes from just the normal seller of misery to this misery seller who is now starting everything with but. But? Oh, but. Yes, but. All these doubts are as meaningless as any notion that you have had about yourself. Just trying to distract you away from that which is so apparent to you now. That's why I've been saying over the last few days that in our notionlessness, our truth is apparent to us. But it does not live up to the expectation. Many times it does not live up to the expectation that we had from the truth. Because this we have always had. This has always been what we are, not even had. And one of the favorite buts of the mind is, but it can't be so simple. But he has something that I don't have. He's just not telling us. He's humoring us or something like that. It is not true. How could it be that one who is always sharing about oneness actually is hiding something? No, actually, we are two. I have something which I will whisper in your ear finally or something. But another favorite one is it's so clear, Ananta, when you're speaking and we are in Satsang, it's so clear. But I know when I leave, I will be caught again. The other day we heard it from Nityana, heard it many times from many of you. And I just know it. No, you don't. You don't know anything at all. This is a trick. You see, these are slow. The mind tricks are so subtle, so slippery that they can seem like. Many times they can even hide behind humility. Like, this is good, making good progress. Another few weeks, something like that. Any reason to expand its duration. You see, the mind is looking for ways in which the identity can be given a longer duration. And it's doing its job well. It's how it has been designed by consciousness, by you yourself. So, this is how it is. Actually, nothing is how it is. But it is so pristine that actually nothing can truly describe it. But, but I'm developing an eye for who has a butt. Okay, that didn't sound right. Okay, you know what I mean. Single T. What are the conditions you have for your freedom? What should happen? When should it be? What should it be like? What must you see? Will it be like a fireworks display? If that is what it is, we'll organize one. Just like, okay, I'm just waiting for the fireworks to happen. Okay, just come a little later in the evening. We just finished Diwali here. All these notions are pointless. You will never be 1 inch, 1 centimeter, 1 millimeter more than what you are already, because you are the limitless self. And you see it, not through physical eyes, not through phenomenal eyes. It is already your reality. Sometimes I feel like telling all of you, children, please, when are you going to get over this personal notion so that then we can start exploring the quality of divinity or something? What is this being that takes birth within myself and yet is myself? All these realms we have experienced over and over again, all this play of light and sound. And it's a beautiful design. How about we taste it now as one and not as Ananta and put name there? Your being is the light of this universe. Within your being, such beautiful qualities are born. Sound, light, gravity, objects, space, fire, water, all these elements. All of these are here because you are. And when you have had enough of the play of this experience, all of this vanishes. And yet you are. What is this beautiful dance of phenomenality and non-phenomenality, of being and knowing? We take existence for granted, and the non-existent to be our reality. The non-existent person has got all our time, attention, beliefs so far. Never existed. But this existence, you are. How you exist right now? How did you wake up this morning? What woke up this existence? The mind's descriptions are not worth it anymore. Where do you come from? Where will you go? In worldly terms, my dearest ones, there is no greater price to pay than to believe a notion about yourself. Put another way, nothing is worth exchanging your reality for, your being for. God is here, Sadguru is here, your being is here. They're all words for the same being. We exchange that in the play. We exchange that for just some idea about ourselves. It's not a good deal. I have a but for the but. So when the mind says, but, just say, but God is here. Or just say, but Guruji is here. No objection can be stronger than this. That's why the other day I shared this very simple line which still stuck with me. It's very beautiful. That don't tell your Guru how big your problem is. Tell your problem how big your Guru is. And the mind goes, but. I say, but my Guru is here. That's the whole point of having. If you have a Guru and then you have to make up the entity that has to deal with the problem, then it's pointless. You can either have a Guru or you can have a way. I saw this was posted as a quote, but I wonder how many would get it without the context. If you have a way, which means that you want to do something your way, this is the way I'm going to get freedom, this is the way my life has to go, this is the way something, whatever the way might be, then you don't really have a Guru. At least not in your heart, you've not accepted it fully. To have a Guru means that this life is his or hers to run. And you know the funny thing? That it has always been that way anyway. But the experience of it, the taste of this life, seems to have a different quality. A surrendered life seems to have much more sweetness. Even in the pain, there is more sweetness. In a life which is dominated by my way. This my, in any way, is a big fallacy and big suffering. The other day I was saying, to say mine to something in this phenomenal world is like tying your leg to the leg of a crazy horse or something. Everything in this realm is changing. It is here today, gone tomorrow. And we want stability from that. We feel like this will give us peace and contentment. Anything we say mine, then we tie ourselves to this phenomenal thing. How long is it going to last? Nothing lasts forever. That which has come will go. So this is attachment, and that's why attachment causes sorrow. The beauty is that even this phenomenal play, that's why Guru appears as form. He is one horse you can tie your leg to. Once you connect to the Master, once you meet him in your heart, the Master is not going anywhere. Form, of course, can keep changing. But the true Master is always pointing you to the true master, which is your own presence, your own being, your own self. This master is the same, motionless I am, conceptless being, unadulterated existence. This you can tie yourself up to if you like, because you are it. Also know that if you do play with notions, if you do pick up a notion, it's part of the design of this play. Nothing to feel guilty about. Nothing I've ever said in Satsang, nothing I've ever said in Satsang is meant to make you feel guilty about anything at all. In fact, I've gone so far as to say that if you feel guilty about anything that you heard in Satsang, safely throw it away. We have many more concepts. We don't have to use that one. All these thorns we are using to remove other thorns, we have now a good collection of them. So don't use satsang as an opportunity to create this guilty, unworthy seeker idea about yourself. If it is picked up, it is picked up. Now it's gone. No concept has ever survived this moment. You know this good news? No concept has ever survived this moment. You're empty of it now. It might repeat itself, of course, it might come again. But it again requires your belief. This is the magic of this. That freedom is simpler. The mind has a tougher job. Whatever wave might be arising on the ocean remains ocean. We got so used to describing the ocean based on the quality of the wave. So much turbulence today. It's very peaceful. It's just at the surface layer, it's nothing. Compared to the ocean, it is nothing. Compared to the limitless, it is more than nothing. All these waves of thoughts and emotions and perceptions, what are they? Where are they in relation to the reality of you? Just something, when I say go beyond perception, I know it cannot be done. Something just takes hold of this. All this is just at a perception level, but I am much beyond this. Don't have to understand anything. Don't have to think anything. Don't have to feel anything. Don't have to feel, think, do all these ideas you've given about yourself. For the truth to be apparent, there are no preconditions. Thank you all so much for being in Satsang today. Sadhguru Shri Muji Baba ki
Jai. Sadhguru Shri Ananta Ji ki Jai.